Hello, it's John Black, Super Chemist, here, part 10, biggest trick of gender theory. We're on self-fulfilling prophecies, or victimhood, self-fulfilling victimhood. So, like I was saying, I'm at the non-binary families, like reunion, where people are coming out from other states. Anyways, one of the people was young girl, about 20 or whatever, uh, with her new boyfriend. They were talking on the internet for like a month or two, I think 2 months, and then she moved in with them. They didn't even they like live across the country from each other, but they've been living together for a month, and he lives with his dad. Okay, so he's like 20, living with his dad. So she's living with her dad and him for a whole month. Keep that in mind. All right. But anyways, of course he's a man, so they hate him. Okay, they hate his guts. But what I'm getting with was this self-fulfilling victimhood or prophecy, right? He was very introverted. You know, like if you've seen like a woke guy and he had like a bun in his head, that type of guy, that guy. He didn't have a bun in his head, but I just got that vibe or feeling from him. You know what I mean? And I even said that. Oh, I get like a woke vibe, that gay, you know, gay, not like sexuality, just gay, like weird, man. Like I get that gay bun, man bun hair thing, man. You know, I get that vibe from him, you know. But that was it. I said, you know, because I don't hate men, you know what I mean? I don't give a crap, you know. It's her boyfriend. But, so he's really introverted, okay, like super introverted, okay, and so he doesn't like to answer questions. He's like, you know, and the mother of the girl, right, or the grandmother, right, of this non-binary family that doesn't know they're non-binary, uh, she knows this, right? Now, if you don't hate men, right, and you, like if I was the grandmother, right, or the grandfather there, if I, you know, I'd be like, hey, there's milk, there's pop, and there's whatever I have, you know, in the refrigerator. If you want anything to get to drink, go get to drink, and that would be the end of it. If I would make, you know, I made pizza and I made chicken nuggets and whatever, you know, if you want some of it, just come out and get it. The plates are in the cupboard, and the silverware's in the silverware drawer. You know, and that would have been it. But see, she hates men, and she's gonna make her own victimhood. You know what I mean? So what does she do? I bet you $1 million that she just sat there constantly, every second. What can I go ask this kid? What can I ask him so that I can, you know, make him try to, you know, answer me, and then I can get mad and say, look at how men are suck. Look how horrible this man is. You know what I mean? Instead of just leaving him alone, you know, and just say what's out there, and if he wants it, he gets it. You know, but no, she had to constantly go up to him to ask questions. Like, really? Hey, seriously? Hey, and then she'd complain about it all day. For 3 days or whatever that he was there. That's all I heard. That's all I heard. I hate him. I can't. Every time I ask him a question, well, stop asking him a question. You know, it's funny is I watch this because I was visiting my mother in a hospital. She's watching that cat show. He's like the cat whisperer, right? Instead of Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, he's a cat whisperer. I don't know his name. He's got tattoos all over the place, whatever, but he's really good with cats. He's like a genius, right? I'm like getting so mad, and it was episode after episode. I'm like, these people are idiots. You know what I mean? They're all like the first one, the cat had a wound on his back of his thingy, and so the guy, you know, the cat whisperer was like, well, show me what you know, what are you doing when he's to get him upset or whatever? one of the things they're petting his back where his whatever is, you know what I mean? They're actually giving him medicine for it, you know, orally. So they know that he has whatever's screwed up in the back there. I can't remember. If your cat's pissed off and you're patting him a certain way, stop doing that. So of course that's what he said. All of the things though were just stop doing that. You know what I mean? It's like. So anyways, so all she had, she made it happen. You know what I mean? And then let's see another example. Okay, and then again we got the same grandmother, same one. She's with this guy, right? Alright. I don't know nothing about, I'm not that into their relationship or their whatever, she has a boyfriend or whatever, or fuck buddy, or I don't know what they are really. Yeah, I mean at this point. They're always back and forth on stuff, who knows. But anyways, so I could see, because I didn't think about this a year ago. A year ago I thought men were horrible and and women can do anything and blah 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 blah, so I didn't really see it, you know what I mean? Once you see it, oh my God, it's ridiculous. The man bashing is just like, I swear it's like 25% of what women talk about is just bashing men. I swear to God. And it's always underhanded, always whatever, a joke. Oh, it's a joke. I'm just joking. Yeah, 5,000 jokes. But I noticed she just belittles him all the time and is joking. You know what I mean? Just joking. Always. And then when he ain't around or behind his back, it's just constantly bashing him. Just man bashing. And there's always something stupid. You know what I mean? That he's just being a man. And she defines being a man as being, my whole world is over. Someone's acting like a man. They better act non-binary like me, because she's non-binary, you know what I mean? But the thing is we go to the bar last year, say, okay, I went with both of them, okay? And what was it? Oh, he got drunk and acted like an idiot, you know what I mean? Started calling her names and then just left the bar and walked home. He didn't even have a car. He just walked. It was only like 4 blocks or something, but still. I was like, damn, man. Why is he acting like a jerk, man? And she said, see, that's what that's what he does. That's how he acts. Then, and normally I'd be like, yeah, man, what a jerk. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now that I have my eyes open and I think back into the past and then I think what's happened, especially, in this last year when I've opened up my eyes, and then I think about what happened before that, like, you know what I mean? So they've been together on and off or whatever for like a decade or more. So all she does is belittle him. Like, so what happened basically here, she belittled him for years, and then he started drinking and started acting like a jerk, okay? Because he drank before that. He drank the whole time, okay? But he didn't act like a jerk when he drank, because he acts normal when he's not drinking. He just calls her a bitch and this and that when he's drinking, I guess. I don't know, because they don't really tell me whatever, you know what I mean? But that's the gist I get, you know what I mean? And, yeah, but why? Why is he doing that? Maybe after years? After years? Of course that's going to happen. You forced it to happen, you know what I mean? You did a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or in her case, self-fulfilling victimhood. Right? They make their own, and I'll tell you a story about my first marriage, okay? We literally for 2 years we're dating, and nothing happened. Nothing, except bliss and happiness. We never had, not even nothing. It was just perfect. Literally, there was not even 1 second where we disagreed or fought. Of course, I was treating her like a queen, so I was screwed up. I didn't get in my place where I should have been, you know. And a woman cannot stand that. So I spent money on her left and right, you know what I mean. I spent $100 a week on her. This was when we were in high school. I spent her, well, she was actually graduated. She was a little older. But anyways, so I spent $100 a week on this chick, man. My whole allowance, man. And you might say that ain't that much, but this is back, like in the 80s. You know, that $100 today would be worth like $300-400, man. I'm spending on her. Keep in mind, I live on like $1,150 or something a month. You know, so $400 a week, $300 a week. That's a lot of money. Hey, I can live on that, man. Then I went to the military, and within weeks, she's cheating on me. You know, and we're young then. I didn't think, you know, and this is back in the day. This isn't where women slept around with 50 guys and thought it was nothing. I didn't think she actually slept with them. I just thought she went on a couple of dates or whatever, and she got bored or whatever. Her friends talked to her, blah, blah, blah. But then it just kept getting, you know, more and more. Like, I was just yelling now, you know what I mean? Like, why? You know, you got to stop seeing them or whatever, blah, blah. But she just kept doing more and more and more and more. And it kept being worse and worse and worse, you know, from dating to, you know, kissing, then to sex, then to having a baby, or getting pregnant, rather. So it took like 6 months to progress to that part, you know what I mean? And up until there was kind of normal, you know what I mean? But then the next 6 months, more and more, because she stopped, you know, what she was doing. But I felt like after you did all that to me for 6 months, after I did nothing to you, like we were engaged to be married when I went to the military. It wasn't like we were just dating. We were engaged. When I got out of boot camp, we were going to get married, or A school, we were going to get married and blah, blah, blah. But then the next 6 months, so all I want her, I said, you give me 1 month where you're just treat me like a freaking king. Get up in the morning, ask, do you want a blowjob? You know what I mean? What do you want to eat? Is there anything I can do for you? I said, do that for a month, you know. Put me first. You know what I mean? Once in your life. Like I put you first now for 2 years, where we're dating, 6 months while we're in the military here and we're whatever, and you're screwing around. Like, you know, we were living together now. Yeah, just every week. Believe it or not, she went to her parents' house every week. Friday, she'd go. Sunday night, 3 days, like half the week. We're supposed to be, because I said, I'm not going to marry you. I'm not going to do it. You know, you got to give me 1 month of good whatever, or whatever. But I just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then I went bonkers. You know, I've had a horrible mother, an evil dad, okay? And then I got this woman that's just horrible too, when I was so perfect to this woman, like, you know, which I wasn't perfect, so I wasn't being in my place. And women can't handle that, you know what I mean? So anyways, she created the monster. Because then it went from yelling at her to punching walls and then smacking her and grabbing her arms and going like this, you know what I mean? And I begged her to leave. I begged her. I said, I can't, I'm going insane here. You can see I'm going insane. But then after the year, I just like, was whatever, man. and I fed into the victim ideology. I had it. I had the disease.